What's going on, everyone? It's Chris, and this is episode 1 of Marketing Mandems by Mercury Marketing. I'm here with
Nathan
and Ryan.
And today, guys, we're going to talk about the upcoming recession. Obviously, if you're watching this out of sequence, it is Q4 of 2022, and we're looking at a very grim economic outlook for 2023. We're already seeing interest rates rising. We've been dealing with inflation for a while. So we're going to try to give you our 2 cents on how to think about marketing your small business during this time. So let's get right into it.
All right. Let's start off with the number one topic we want to bring up, or the first topic, which is as much as possible, keep consistent with your marketing efforts. Because through the research we've all done, through recessions, through the Great Depression, basically all the stats tell us that the businesses that thrive the most through recessions and the Depression were companies that maintained or increased their advertising, or at least maintained.
100%. Yeah, a good example was during the Great Depression. Actually, I think it was in the recession right before, like early 1920s, where Post was the leader in kind of the cereal brand category, and Kellogg's kind of upped their marketing, where Post basically dialed it back. And then, as we see today, Kellogg's is still like one of the major leaders in that category. So, staying consistent. You want to almost cut a lot of costs when you go into a recession. People start panicking, but that's kind of the one important things, at least to, if you're going to dial it back in things that aren't necessarily working, and kind of fine tune it.
Yeah. So the way to think about this, guys, is during a recession, you're going to need to cut costs, but you don't want to cut things that are actually driving revenue. So if you look at something like your marketing spend, your advertising spend, that's something that's actually assisting you in driving revenue. So if we're looking at surviving, we're going to need to cut costs potentially because revenue might slow down, but we don't want to take away something that's adding revenue. And also, while your competitors might be making quick jumps to cut things out, those competitors are leaving market share on the table for you to grab. And also, as less people are advertising, you have prices starting to drop. So in these situations, you might actually be able to get a deal on advertising that you would have been unable to get in another market.
Yeah, like compounds, right? Because it's costing less, but the more you spend in advertising, you're actually getting a greater market share because not as many people are advertising in that space.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're making an assumption here, guys, that you're advertising well. We're not advocating for like throwing money away down like dead end channels.
And we'll talk about that. Even further.
Yeah, we can make that point too, so we can blend these things together. But the second point, guys, is to really evaluate your current marketing spend so that you can find kind of the best uses of the limited marketing dollars you have.
I agree. Yeah, and there's so many good stats, especially if you're doing marketing what we would consider the right way, which is taking advantage of like Google ad spend. Well, depending on your
target
industry
market,
and your target market. But there's so many stats available. And then one thing is that with the recession, the one thing that doesn't cost money theoretically is your time. So you can be spending that time researching what is the most effective things to do. Like, what are other people doing, big businesses in your same industry that have the capital? Where are they putting their money? And then assess whether you can do that and should do that. And then when you're doing that, how effective is it? And if it's effective, either take money out of things that are less effective and put it into it, or at least maintain that KPI.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, the pie is going to shrink in terms of, customers and stuff available out there that are going to want to buy your products, as a lot of people are dialing back, but you can still increase your share within that pie. And when the recession is over, which it's going to end, everything comes to an end, and times will be bright again. And when they are, you are more likely to come out on top, as we've seen through the past.
Yeah. So the key thing here, guys, is just to really evaluate where you're spending your money and make sure that you're being ruthlessly efficient and transferring money from maybe ad sources that aren't working that well. And also if there's ad sources that are targeting certain demographics that might not be buying your product anymore. So if you have, for example, if you have a high-end product that might have been aspirational to a middle-class consumer, that consumer might not be interested in your product anymore. So you might have to go further upstream with your marketing, as like even more high-end customers maybe are moving down into your product category. So just once again, it comes down to like really understanding your customer and your ad spend, and it's going to make your life much easier in allocating dollars during this time. So the third thing on our list here is we have focus messaging on value. So you guys can jump here. Mule, you go first. We've been going first.
Yeah. I mean, customers are going to be very cognizant of what they're spending their money on in a recession. You know, some people are just going to completely pump the brakes and not want to spend money on anything. There's going to be still people that are going to spend money, but they're going to do a lot more research and time into deciding on what they want to buy. So they're going to be looking for things that are the most valuable for them. They're not just going to be throwing their money out, you know, willy-nilly. So if you can really communicate how valuable your product is to them, it's going to be kind of a stronger message than just, you know, your, I don't know, run-of-the-mill messaging. Like you really want to focus on, you know, saying to people why they should get their get this certain product. Pretty much.
Yeah, I agree. And this is you don't really need stats here because we're all human and we all feel that. Like when we have less money available or we're scared of the future and don't know if we should be spending our money, that's when we are more, like you said, like more scared. We're just scared of spending our money in the wrong place, and we're holding it on tight, and we need to know that what we're giving our money to is actually going to bring us either like happiness, convenience, whatever your product is giving value for. And again, tying it into the lack of competitors advertising, when you show that you are giving value, it's going to have an exponential effect on them when they're only hearing your voice or a few voices.
Yeah, this is a great time to go down market, either with a smaller product size. For example, if you're in like the consumer packaged good products, it's good to go and make a smaller size of your product now so that people can get in at a lower price point. It's also good to run offers on volume on the other end of it, like buy two, get one free kind of thing, just to move product around. And then lastly, if you have a high ticket item, it's good to get creative here with how you are selling that product as far as payments go. So if you can create a payment solution for someone to pay for that product in maybe 5 to 10 payments versus one upfront payment, that's another thing you can consider here. But yeah, providing, as far as like a value creation, it's going to really come down to you refining your offer. So make sure that your ads are driving to an offer that's going to give someone maximum value so that they feel like their dollars are going the furthest with you and your product. Okay, and then we can go to, this definitely ties in. This is about empathy and understanding your customer's problem. So I'll start this one, but pretty much people are going to be going through some tough times. They're going to be making a lot of decisions. They're going to be under a lot of stress, potentially losing their job, potentially being under stress in their, you know, their relationships and things like that. We know that economic downturns have a negative effect on people's lives almost across the board. So just having empathy about what your customer is going through and trying to put yourself in their shoes, you might be experiencing it yourself. And then this way you can better articulate all of your messaging. So for example, Dell did a great campaign during the 2008 financial collapse where Dell actually made something about Dell's being dependable and that you could depend on them to get the job done for, you know, for the right price kind of thing, even during these tough times. So Dell's messaging really resonated with people, and they didn't pretend like the recession wasn't happening, which is something I don't want you to do in your marketing. If you can do so tastefully, you can talk to people about understanding, hey, I know this is a really tough time. Here's how we're trying to help you. And if you need this product, we're here to help you with it at, you know, doing it as best as we can. And you're going to win a lot of brand loyalty from people that maybe don't even purchase from you in this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then go on the other side of it. Like you said, like people don't want to be bullshitted. at this point. Like, hey, it's all sunshine and rainbows. Like, not exactly a business example, but we all remember when those celebrities did that during COVID. The imagine there's no heaven.
I didn't even see that. What was that?
A bunch of celebrities got together and started singing, and basically the message of the song is like, "Oh, it's not that bad." It's like we all just got to come together. And meanwhile, they're in like mansions and like they're all good.
Going to
Their
private parties.
their money's secure. It was like the backlash from the people, like the common person, and like lower income, mid income was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, no, exactly.
We don't want to hear this. Like, this isn't your time to speak. We don't want to hear from you that it's going to be all right. You're all right. We're fucked.
Yeah, we're going through these problems. Tell me how you're going to help me. Don't tell me it's going to be fucking okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting how the marketing messages changed too, just comparative to the last couple of years. Like 2020, as you said, it was kind of people putting out messages of, coming together, like with family, like we got to stay connected. 2021 was more like supply chain shortages. Like, yeah, we have stuff on the shelves. Like, there was a huge issue with that. And now a lot of it, I think, is going to be geared toward recession. So if you can really tailor your messages towards emotional engagement, I think those will be a lot more impactful for sure.
Yeah, definitely appeal to people's emotions, and like we just said, guys, like don't pretend like it's not happening, especially if you can do so tastefully, like the Dell example we just gave. Obviously, you don't have to be doom and gloom. You don't need to be like negative all the time for the sake of being negative, but just understanding the situation and saying like, hey, we're here to help you and this is how we're doing it. That's going to go a long way with putting your brand in people's mind and building up a lot of goodwill. Okay, so next thing we have here is buying cycles increasing during recession. So this was some research that we did, but we found that buying cycles, so the amount of time people take to make a purchase decision, actually increases during a recession. And this, of course, ties into the consumer wanting to get the best value. So you can dive into this. Whoever, Mule, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's kind of what we talked about earlier. Yeah, so customers are going to want to find the thing that has the most value, so they're going to do a lot more research in terms of finding what they want to buy. So you just really want to tailor your marketing towards value. Once again, education, a lot of education products surrounding your product. So
yeah, and I think this ties again into the very first point, which is be consistent, because that time for them, depending on how expensive your product is to that person, we're talking about the time for them to make the decision is going to be way longer. So the exposure needs to be consistent, because they might not buy on the first time they see you and the first value proposition, but the next one they see it again and again and again. It's super important to stay consistent, because they're going to take longer and longer to make that decision. Yeah,
the example that I go back to here was Campbell's Soup, actually during the 1930s Depression. What they did was they included recipes on the back of their cream of mushroom soup can. So they were able to give people like busy housewives, they were able to give them a quick way to make a casserole, something to add to meatloaf, and other uses for their product. So the people were like, okay, like I have less time, or I'm busy, or I'm stressed, but I can use this soup can to not only make soup, but I can make like 3 other things with it. And it was cheap. Campbell's came out of the 30s absolutely booming. So I'm in consumer packaged goods, so I have all the consumer packaged goods examples, but gotcha. that was a big one that provided like a lot of obviously value and help to people in the 30s, and it really made Campbell's come out of the recession like one of the biggest food companies in the United States.
I see what you're saying. So the longer that a customer can see value in the product, like their time with value from the product, the better you're going to do.
Yeah, and just educating them on different use cases for your product, right? So with Campbell's, it was like, hey, we can use this soup to do a bunch of different things. So that actually reduces the amount of items I have to buy in a grocery store, which is going to help me save money. So yeah, obviously we're talking about the 1930s where we didn't have like social media and stuff like that. So advertising was very different then, but that's another thing. Like we obviously focus a lot on digital marketing, things like that, but there's a lot of like grassroots stuff that you can do on your packaging. If you have a store, your in-store experience, there's so much you can do. So this isn't on the list, but I would also say just be creative during these times. Like you have to make your dollars go further, whether that's in person or however you're doing it, but just be creative and test if it's low cost, just test it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Pertaining to that is another factor of the Kellogg's example is that they actually invested a lot into radio ads, which was a relatively new media at the time. Like apparently I did some research. There's like in 1921, only like 1% of households
had a radio.
Shit. This wasn't in the Great Depression time, so
it was
it was a little further than that. So it wasn't 1%, but it was relatively new media to be advertising to, which is relevant to people that are trying to use social media, especially when you need to cut costs.
100%. Just finding the channels that are going to be like the most impactful for the dollar, right? Which brings us to our last point for now, which is this was a point about learning how to use built-in tools to make content. So obviously, guys, we're an agency. We come in, we take care of creating content, we take care of management of content for businesses, strategy, the whole nine. With that being said, we are actually telling you to not use us. Seriously though, if your budget is super tight and you need to learn how to use your phone or whatever resources you have to make content, because it's still going to be important. It's not going to go away. So learning how to use green screen function, learning how to use some of these things, that's going to be massively important for you.
Yeah, 100%. Use the things that you have, stuff that's cheap. If you can't afford the marketing resources right now, if you have a photographer that you normally had before, just figure out, go on YouTube. There's videos how to teach you how to do everything. Yeah. So if you can learn just simple tactics to, make it easier for you while times are tough, then got to do what you got to do.
The other thing I will say, as an agency, I'm sure other agency owners, other agency entrepreneurs can relate to this. Guys, if you do have an agency, use them. What I mean by that is when they show up, be organized, like be prepared to make content, because otherwise,
team effort.
You're wasting your money. If they're showing up and you're unorganized, you don't have anything prepared, you're not prepared to shoot the video concepts or whatever, then you're wasting that money. So make sure if you have a photographer, you have a videographer, whatever it is, make sure you're prepared to execute on like whatever ideas you guys have come up with together, so that you're getting the best like bang for your buck from your agency.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, guys. Well, let's do some spitballing. What do you guys think? Here, Nathan, you go first, and then Mule. What do you guys think is going to be the one of the biggest gainers as like a big gainer? Give me your top three as far as like companies that you think are going to come out of the recession bigger and badder than ever.
Ooh. Damn. Okay. Off the top,
here, I'll go one.
Amazon is too easy.
You think Amazon? Yeah.
I think Amazon's ability to like bring the cost down. We were just talking about these tripods and like, 150. I misinterpreted what you said. And then, no, they're actually $30. It's like, okay. It went from one spectrum to the other. It's like their ability to cut costs is like fucking fantastic. I can't believe it.
Yeah, and Jeff Bezos is just a G. Okay, yeah. So that's one. Mule, you go one, and then we'll do loops. So you can think. Yeah,
guys.
Twitter.
I was gonna say
I
Twitter.
knew you were gonna say Twitter. Yeah, honestly, Elon is just I just trust Elon. He's going in there. He's cutting a lot of costs right now, and they weren't even a profitable company before. So, it's just going to be really interesting to see what happens with them. So, I think they're really going to come out on top after this recession. Don't know exactly what he's going to do there, but he's a proven track record. So, I think they're going to come out on top.
Okay, I'm gonna go with. I think Chick-fil-A is gonna grow exponentially. So there's like trends in like food businesses during recessions where people tend to like comfort food, fast food. Usually does very well during the recession because people will still buy food out. They'll just be much more conscious about what they're buying. Chick-fil-A, I think, has been on like a great trajectory, opening stores. It's a hot brand. There's massive lineups whenever you go to like any of the stores around here. So I think Chick-fil-A is gonna continue their explosion into post-recession, like 2025.
Gotcha. You know who I'm gonna say?
Who?
Midday Squares.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to say. And not just the midday squares, like the chocolate bar, like whoever is running. Sorry, I don't know the names. Do you know?
I can't remember their names. Yeah.
But the people that run that, their ability to incorporate personal identity with their marketing, I think that'll just work so well with any product they use. Like on their social media, they create like a reality TV show around selling, marketing, packaging, for fuck's sakes. They're midday squares, which is just, as soon as I watched like 3 videos and I was like rooting for them.
For them,
They're
100%. No, I agree, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
They do a good job. 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Happy Dad. The Nelk Boys brand. So kind of what we were talking about before, investing in, creating your own audience, your own content. Those guys have done an amazing job just, creating a whole community. So, and one thing we know for sure is that people aren't going to stop drinking. So, if you're staying in, you're spending less, buying alcohol out of the bars, whatever. You're still going to buy it for the home if that's what you were going to do before. So I think they're just going to keep growing.
Yeah, no, that's actually, Happy Dad was a good one. I'm going to go with, so in 2008, like candy bars performed really well, like chocolate companies and stuff. So midday squares would fit that bill. But I also think like, I can't remember, is Reese's owned by, Reese's is owned by Hershey's? I think
no
so.
idea. Yeah.
I'm not.
Either way, who do you?
Anyways, I'm saying like, I think Reese's peanut butter cups are like the most like undervalued piece of like branding in marketing right now. I feel like that brand is so popular, like with people fuck with Reese's peanut butter cups so much, and yet like I feel like they're not blown up on social. Like, I feel like Reese's peanut butter cups could do like a shoe deal.
Are they doing stuff to blow up?
No,
on social
I feel
now,
like I don't feel like they are, but I feel like they could. And I feel, well, sales are they're gonna crush for sales anyways. But I feel like Reese's peanut butter cups are fucking the next big fucking candy bar, like big. Go ahead.
Gotcha. It's a fight right now for me with the 2 companies, TikTok and YouTube. Like as far as the vertical content, TikTok's winning vertical content.
Yeah.
But YouTube is horizontal content that is putting up a fight in the vertical space. I just saw on TikTok they're allowing 10-minute videos.
Yeah, I posted one.
10-minute?
Yeah, I posted a long form video on TikTok. It actually did all right. Like the algorithm, I think the algorithm's kind of pumping that stuff out a bit more to test it. Yeah.
Can you see like the watch time on there? I know on YouTube Studio you can.
I can check my analytics. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not that I'm asking.
Yeah.
But you can check it. But I think YouTube is going to win that battle. Just first of all, the resources they got. I know TikTok's a huge fucking
TikTok
company.
might get banned, man.
No shit.
Yeah, they talk about banning it in the States all the time. I
don't think they can. I don't
know, bro. I think if Donald or like if a Republican gets another 4 years, I think that shit's gone. Because they're saying it's a threat to national security because the Chinese have too much data. That's what their position. I don't know. It'd be fucking crazy.
I'm Team YouTube.
Team YouTube. There you go. Mule, last company.
I'm gonna stick with the whole content side of things, of basically YouTubers or anything that are getting into that space. So I'm gonna go with Mr. Beast burgers and Mr. Beast chocolate bars, because that's another thing that we said does well during recessions is chocolate bars. So, and he's actually making it like a healthy chocolate bar. It's got like quinoa and stuff in it.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Does it taste good though?
I don't know. One of our buddies had it actually, Julian. He said it was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I'm gonna go with Mr. Beast. I think just people that do well, building an audience. Attention is the new currency. So if you can build your own organic audience, and then you go out and you make a good product, I think those guys are going to do the best. I think a lot of the people that do that are going to supersede some of these major companies in the next like 10, 15 years. I think they're going to come out on top.
No, I agree. Yeah, because they have all the attention, right? And they're like the most relevant in culture right now. It's all those brands. Like that's what like Gen Zers, that's what kids fuck with.
Yeah. They're brand new, and like these major corporations have been around for years and years, but these guys are starting out doing amazingly well and in such a short time. So
last one for me is Dunkin' Donuts. So Dunkin' fucking destroyed the last recession, did so well, grew exponentially, and then now they're on TikTok. They're the second biggest, I think, food brand on TikTok behind Chipotle.
Fuck off.
Yeah, Chipotle's the biggest. Dunkin' has Charlie D'Amelio, like that famous TikToker, as their like ambassador too. So
Okay.
And they got the Gary V at the helm. So I think it's I believe they're like a VaynerMedia client. So anyways, I think they're gonna fucking explode during the recession. And
So they got good marketing. That's why they're gonna do
good marketing. And I think people, coffee's like a drug. So people will always buy coffee. Like coffee tends to do pretty well in recession. And I think there's gonna be a contraction in some of the specialty market, just because some of the prices that people pay for coffee in like a specialty coffee shop in some of these major markets, it's like pretty absurd. So I think Dunkin' is like pretty affordable. People are still getting their coffee. People enjoy it. They like the donuts, whatever. And then the marketing's mint. So there you have it. There's our top 3, ladies and gentlemen. All right, boys. Any closing remarks?
Well done, boys.
Yeah. First,
Yeah.
Mercury Mandem.
Good job.
Yeah, so guys, first one, little rocky at points, but we're gonna get better. We're gonna refine it, but
It's
hopefully,
the first one.
hopefully we provided some value. There's a free PDF you can download below. We'll link it right below. You can click there and get a PDF. It just goes over all the talking points, gives you a little kind of like checklist to see what you need to do to prepare for the recession. And we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.
See you guys.